Hello. Thank you for inviting me to speak at this event, at least through a recording. I was invited to submit this recording by Aziz. My name is Mohammed Alkhafaji. I left Iraq when I was 15 years old back in 1995. I finished the remainder of my studies all in the field of computer science in the United States, as well as I've accumulated over 20 years of working experience in various industries. I also taught part-time simultaneously. I love to teach. In the past 10 years, my main focus has been on starting up new businesses around primarily health tech and fintech, trying to solve problems or provide some transformational solutions. I've co-founded 7 businesses over a span of 10 years only, with 2 successful exits. My companies have accumulated an aggregated valuation value of hundreds of millions of dollars. However, I believe the best is yet to come, since I've been involved in Iraq about a couple of years ago. After investing my own personal time training young Iraqis over the internet with the help of Aziz and working with the interns from Noah's Ark, I realized that once given the opportunity, young Iraqis are more than capable of competing globally. And I'm not just saying this out of my Iraqi bias, but based on my successful and profitable business that I ran for 2 years, the past 2 years, exporting technology or offshoring to US-based mid-sized businesses in the hands of young Iraqis working out of their home in Baghdad. While they were a fraction of the cost of a Western developer, they excelled at quality. Actually, we never sold ourselves as a cheaper alternative, but on the contrary, the main benefit or the main thing that we advertised to US-based companies was our premium quality, as well as our young people's ability to work on cutting edge as well as latest technologies and excel at it. Yet our developers continue to be lowest priced developers compared to other to their counterpart in the region, as well as Asian developers, and cheaper than US based. Yet the quality was our main focus. All of that, given all of that, our developers actually get paid more than 3 times the average Iraqi developer working locally in the Iraqi market. So this is actually very encouraging and impactful. My students and employees were so good, I decided to start my own transformational business in Iraq this time. This is my, I believe, best yet to date. And depending 100% on Iraqi hands, young Iraqi developers working out of their homes in Baghdad. I've decided to found a company called Pure Platform, which is a disruptor and an innovator in the field of fintech. It's a fintech company. Pure Platform is the first company to solve a global problem that I usually refer to as the cash problem. Armed with and having earned 3 US-based patents, Pure Platform is proud to have accumulated over 13,000 customers and 1,100 businesses in the span of 4 months in Baghdad alone since we launched around the June timeframe. All of that while spending no money on advertisement, and our focus has been only primarily on social media and other digital forms such as a website and having an application, a mobile application. What makes Pure Platform unique is the magnitude of the problem it is solving, or it solved for the biggest e-commerce vendors in the world, such as Amazon and Alibaba. It accomplished technologically what many companies have failed at accomplishing over many years, and having spent billions of dollars doing so. Amazon alone had spent $20 billion trying to expand into cash-based economies in the past, I believe, 6 or 7 years. And in the words of Jeff Bezos, they haven't done so successfully. Pure Platform's pride is embodied in its staff that is 100% Iraqi, young and fresh graduates who would have been unemployed otherwise. Over 20 Iraqis are currently employed in our startup after having launched in Baghdad 4 months ago only. Once the next round of funding is closed, which is projected to be within the next 1.5 months, Pure Platform is projected to be one of the fastest growing fintech companies ever and one of the largest in the Middle East. All by young Iraqis who had no idea what a business plan was, let alone be themselves be critical building blocks in what is projected to be one of the most successful fintech companies or startups ever. I'm not just biased and ignorantly motivated by the business or my business. We're actually very close to concluding several sizable partnerships, not only in Iraq but in the region as well. The Pure Platform adventure, as well as the prior experience offshoring technology to US-based companies, had made me realize that it is not only possible to revitalize and stimulate the Iraqi private sector, but to do so in a very short time span or time frame, using unemployed and new graduate students after proper training and mentorship. It is also I've also realized that it's profitable to do so, which is very important, obviously, for investors who are interested in Iraq specifically. And it's profitable for investors also primarily because of the parity in wages and wealth measures compared to other workforce in other countries, even regionally. Motivated by doing my part to move the private sector without depending on or waiting for favorable regulations by the Iraqi government, I have gone around giving many lectures and motivational speeches at Iraqi universities and colleges, as well as local incubators. I believe the right approach to stimulating the private sector in Iraq is by creating a sustainable ecosystem that replicates my successful experience or story to create what I believe is would be possible to create the next Silicon Valley of the 1990s in the Middle East, starting in Iraq. Aziz will spend some time talking about an initiative that he and I had started working on a couple of months ago. It's called the Swan Nest. So I won't be spending any time talking about it here. But I want to conclude my recording answering a core question that's probably on all of your minds at this point. That question revolves around the stability of the region. What about the risks associated with me investing my own time or even money, starting a company or launching a startup in Iraq? My answer to these types of questions would be looking at me as an investor and a serial entrepreneur here in the U.S. out of Chicago. I found it to be right to double down on my own business, especially after the protests had started back in October. And I actually was in Baghdad until beginning of November, so I was kind of like in the midst of it. I believe greatness is based on or is created out of a vacuum and not handed over. Creating the wave is much more profitable for a business person or a serial entrepreneur like myself than riding a rising one, and definitely not joining or more profitable than being at top of an existing one or a big one. So let's create the wave together. It is now time to jump right in and help stimulate the private sector, because the public sector is just unsustaining the growth in the country. And it's up to the private sector to make that move now. I personally believe Iraq is where UAE used to be back in 2005, even comparable from a GDP perspective. UAE took about, I don't know the exact figure, but it was about 2 to 3 years to double their GDP. And I believe Iraq is more capable than doing this in the next 2 years, especially given the size of the population compared to other countries in the Gulf region. For investors, I believe it's actually cheaper now because there is no regional or international competitors or competition in Iraq. And one of the hardest obstacles to get over when starting a new business, and this is very familiar to entrepreneurs, is how to dethrone an existing king. It is much easier to become one when no one wants to come anywhere near the palace. Thank you for watching this recording, and I hope I've inspired you at least just a little bit to think about Iraq as your next destination for investment, as well as maybe starting a business or joining a business, and do your part in chipping away just a little bit of the unemployment problem that has been haunting our young Iraqis who finish colleges and stay at home. Yet with the proper training and proper mentorship, they can turn into a churning engine to produce new businesses and great ideas. Feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn or email me at mo@pureplatform.com. That's moe@pureplatform.com. If you have any questions on Pure Platform or Swan Nest or collaboration in Iraq, we have many initiatives going on right now in Iraq, and we would love to partner with you to have a even much bigger impact than what we're doing today. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your event. Thank you.